Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Let's start another build, shall we? And it involves this one. But not just one. We're going to do two. Let me explain. Again, welcome back to the channel, everybody. The build that we're going to start on this time, I'm just going to go ahead and rip it out of the packs because I don't need the package, because what I'm going to do to this, it will not fit back in. I was perusing, scrolling, looking through, however you want to look at it, photos on Bing or Google. I just typed in, jet engine trucks one day. When I seen one had crashed in the news. Unfortunately, that poor person lost his life. Prayers go out to the family, of course. But with that stated, I stumbled across this photo I'll insert now. The name of it is the Oaklahoma Willy. It's a little small VW pickup truck with a jet engine in the back of it. So, long story short, that's what I'm planning on building. Now there's a story that goes with this, and I'll go ahead and explain it real quick. I reached out to a person to do some decals for me. He's done decals in the past. And he also does 3D printing. So I asked him if he could make the jet engine and do the decals. Sure, no problem, yada, yada, yada. Anyhow, 7 months, 8 months later, they didn't show up. So I was done. I was ready to give up on it. This one was going to be gone. Wasn't going to do it. Poof. Well, I had told a couple people that what the plan was, because I was frustrated. I wanted to know what they thought. And anyhow, Rodney over at RD Customs was one of the people I reached out to. So he 3D printed the engine for me. And I'll show that to you in a little bit when we get ready to paint it. But he also did the decals. He was thinking about getting into decals and everything. Don't know if he's going to do it or not, so don't bug him about that, because I don't know if he's going to do it or not. But with that stated, he sent me the decals, and he sent more than enough to do one car. So you guessed it. Since Mr. Rodney over at RD Custom Diecast was more than gracious and willing to help me get what I needed to do, mine, I'm going to do two. One for me, one for him. So you'll see these parts get intermingled in the video during painting, stripping, all that stuff. But with that stated, he doesn't know he's getting this. So this is going to be a total surprise to him. But they're not going to be identical. They're going to be super, super close. Whenever I do customs for somebody, I always, if I do multiples of them, I always do a little something different. Like mine, I'm going to try to paint it as close to the original as I can. As you've seen in the photo, and I'll post the photo again, the bottom of the truck was like a off-white, and the top of the truck was a candy red, and the cage was candy red also. So, with that stated, that's how mine's going to be. Mr. Rodney's and mine will have different wheels that I ordered. Mr. Rodney's, and this is just no certain order, this could be, but Mr. Rodney's is going to be the same, but it's going to have different wheels, and the cage I'm going to paint the same color as the body. That way, if you look at them, they look the same, but they're different enough to where Mr. Rodney's getting a complete one-off custom that nobody else on this planet has. So that's the plan. Let me get them out of the pack. I'll get them drilled apart, and we'll be right back. And like that, we've got them drilled apart. Now, as you've seen from the photo, there's going to be a jet engine up here, so we will no longer need that. So I will probably just fill this in. I don't know if I'll fill it in with JB Weld like Mr. Jim Silva, or if I'll put some styrene on there, or what. I'm not exactly sure yet. But here's what we have on the inside. I mean, it's just standard affair. We'll be replacing these on both vehicles. As you can see, they are very loose, but that's okay. Just standard 3 tabs on the front, standard 3 tabs on the back. Then we have the engine right here, like I was telling you about. I'll have to cut that off and, like I was stating, fill that in. So I'll just whack it off straight across there and be done with that. Of course, it won't stay this color. I'm going to paint it the same color as the body, and I'll have to do some research to see what color the interior is on the real Oklahoma Willy and paint it up that color. But I'm seriously thinking about, I'm going to do something about that steering wheel. I don't know if I'm going to fill that in and then put a 3D printed steering wheel on it, or what I'm going to do right there, but it's going to get a 3D printed steering wheel. Excuse me. And then, of course, the glass. I don't know if this glass is going to work with that color or not. The glass will be the last thing that I do as far as prep work or reassembly, because like I said, that might work, it might not. But as you can see, you have to be careful. This is going to have to be painted because this back part is the bed. It goes right underneath the glass. So this will have to be painted to match the body. Otherwise, it's going to look very, very odd. But that's what's in there. I'm going to get these drilled out, screws put in it, and we'll drop it in the stripper. All right, here we go. Got them all drilled apart. Got the screws in them, as you seen just now. I could have went a little deeper on that one. That's okay, because I always trim these off anyway. I ordered 3/16. No, I ordered 1/8 of an inch screws. And for some reason, they sent me 3/16. They're a little bit longer, even though all I did was I went to my past purchase, which was the first screws, which was the 1/8, and clicked on it, told them I want to reorder, and they sent the 3/16 for some reason, but that's okay. In the stripper it goes. Shouldn't take too long for that one to sync up because there's nothing in the bed to hold it back. But it's not going to be by itself this time. It's going to have its sister in there. Double the pleasure. But while that syncs up, take a look at these, because I got everything ready. As you can see, I've got them separated. Rod's jet, that's Rodney. Again, we're going to have to, I'll probably just strip the plastic, the chrome off of this, because there's no need in saving it, because it's going to be the same color as the body. and then the interior will get completely redone. So that'll get stripped. Definitely some different wheels. I'll show you those later. But this way we just keep everything separated. And here's mine. Again, mine's going to get different wheels and everything as well. So with that stated, we'll see when the stuff comes out of the stripper. I got them out of the stripper. There's that one. The bits and pieces. This is for mine. And what I used was just one of those Scotch-Brite pads on the wheel for the Dremel. I'm still going to go back and hit it with the wire brush because you can see it doesn't get into places like the headlight cups and everything. Nor does it get into these grooves. And I want to make sure that there's nothing in there. But I'm giving it a good overall look, and I really don't see anything that needs to be addressed on this one. No really bad casting lines, no really bad anything. So that one's going to be just fine and dandy. I'm fixing to test fit the wheels. That's what this is all about right now. I've already got this one mocked up with the wheels. There, I took them off of the Skyline wagon because I wanted his to be really low. I wanted it to have that really cool down to the ground look. And yes, it still rolls. So those will work. The ones for mine, I ordered these over a year ago. It took about 4 weeks to come. I forgot where they came. I think they came from Malaysia. But I ordered these bad boys just because it has the VW logo on it. And I was planning on putting it on this casting anyway. So now I gotta check these and make sure they're gonna fit, which I know if those will fit, these will fit, because these are a little bit larger. And the wheels that come off of it basically are a medium-sized Hot Wheels wheel anyway. So I'm not going to press fit them completely on, because as you can see, it comes with like the M2 style things for the wheels. I just want to see, I can go ahead and stick it on one side, but I don't want to stick it completely on the other side. First time I've ever used these. I hope they're long enough. So all you do is you take it, get you a pair of pliers, push it down in there. Like I said, I don't want to finish mount this because I want to make sure they're going to fit. See how much, that's too long. Well, I don't. Yeah, that's way too long. It needs to be something like right there. Let me go ahead and push it on because I can always take them back off. So yeah, that's gonna be too long. I know that now. That's gonna be way too long. Go ahead and do another one the same way. What I'll do is I'll measure them out, get the length, mark it, cut it, and just put a dot of super glue on the end of it when I stick the other sides on. That way we know, but I want to, this is just mock-up stage, making sure everything's going to fit. Oh man, yeah, those look really cool on there. Yes, sir, those look great. Heck yeah. You can see the axles are just a little bit too long. So I'll have to trim them down. And what I'll do is I'll trim them a little long to start with. Bevel the edge so they slide up in there. And then once I get it exactly the length I want, because that's what we want right there. We want to be tucked up in there. Once I get it exactly the length I want, put a dot of super glue on there, stick it on there, and it's good to go. But there's that. Man, them look good on there. Wow. Now, like I said, I gotta go over it with the wire brush, make sure I get everything off. So we know the wheels are going to fit. We know the wheels are going to work. Put them in there. I got to degrease this so that can be painted, because that's going to be painted the same color as the body. And I still got to fix that back there. I guess I could put some tape across there. Fill it full of JB Weld. Because that'd be too hard trying to get a piece of, and then I'd have to fill the gaps anyway, so. Because it wouldn't look right with two engines. Just won't look right. Alright, first up, I'm going to hit the cars with the wire brush. Make sure that everything is copacetic down. Like I said, you can see in the headlight cups that there's a little bit of, not residue, but the gray stuff that they put on these. I guess it's like a primer. I don't know exactly what it is. Nobody's ever been able to tell me. So I'm just going to stick the wires down in there and just go round and round and round, back and forth. And I'm going to try something before long on a car that I really don't care much about. Because I've noticed when I clean these on the outside and leave the inside with the gray stuff on it and I paint, the paint really sticks to that inside. To the outside it peels off. I can't hardly sand it off from on the inside once I paint it. It's weird. I don't know if it's the process of me scuffing up the metal or if it's whatever that stuff is. I don't know. I'm going to break off a piece of popsicle stick and tape to it. Something like right there. Splendidly, and then I'll take the tape and that will hold the popsicle stick in. That's going to work splendid. I think I'm going to like that a lot better than I would have the tape. Yep, there we go. Let me get the other one set up just like that and we'll be in business. Alright, let's squeeze this around. That way it gets mixed up in the tube really nicely. But don't overdo it because these tubes will bust. See, that's running out already. Alright. I don't want to mix up too much. But you're supposed to mix up equal parts, equal amounts. Stuff is making a mess. Thoroughly mix it till it becomes gray. And then pack it in. Try not to get too much on there. Oh, I don't want to do that. Don't want it filling in the body lines because that's going to show. Pushed into all the corners. It's going to be a lot of sanding, but I believe I could put a sanding attachment on my Dremel and knock it down pretty quick. Trying to keep it off the lights as much as I can. I mean, I know I'll get some on it, but I can sand that off, but I don't want to have to sand for an hour just around the light, because I might mess up the detail. But that looks pretty good right there. That looks like that's going to do it. So I'm going to let this dry overnight. We'll come back and sand it tomorrow and get it ready for paint. The joys of having to do stuff during the wintertime. We're going to try to cut this off right above here, right at that lip. We're going to try it. Try not to cut any of the bed details off, because you'll see it whenever we flip it over. When we insert it into the car. I'll take yeah, that's good. Still has all the edge detail and everything. I'll lightly sand that, square it up, and still have the lip so it can be held in by the screw. That's perfect. Let me do one more. Well, wouldn't you know it, I messed up on the one just a hair. I took off just a little bit of the detail right there. But I really don't think it's going to be enough to matter once I paint it and everything. So I'm just going to lightly knock off the edge, square everything up with sandpaper so it fits back into the car good. I'm going to go ahead and drill a hole in here for the steering wheel too. Let's go ahead and get that done. So what I'm going to try to do is use a file to file most of this down to where it's pretty much flat. And then I'll add the steering wheel. You can see it's already almost flat there. Just got to hit this side a little bit more. And then I'll just drill a hole right in the middle of it and mount our new steering wheel. See how nice and flat that is now? That will work beautifully. Yes, it will. Yep, there's that one. And here's the steering wheel I decided to use. Not period correct, I know, but that's just what I'm going to use. I'm going to try to keep the angle correct. As you can see, my finger is out of the way. And like that, we're through. Right in the middle, look at that. Oh yes. Look at that. Look how much better that looks. Oh yes. Oh yes. A very, very quick learning curve tip for you. A lot of people won't tell you and show you things, they just do. And you're always left behind wondering how to do that. Well, if you last remember, and I want to handle this with the paper towel because it's degreased. If you last remember, we left off with me putting the wood in the back and putting JB weld on it. Don't do that. I'm going to tell you real quick, don't do that. If you do it, use something real soft like balsa wood or the popsicle sticks, because what's going to happen is it sticks to that wood very, very, very good. So what I did was I just took my hobby knife and just whittled the wood off the back of it. I mean, it would not come out without damaging the JB weld, because on the other one I pulled it out just to see. I forced it out and I pulled the JB weld out with it. So I had to redo that one. And I decided to leave this one alone. So there's 2 trains of thought on this. Or 3. You can do it the way I did it and then just whittle it out, because it was very simple to get it out. With the razor knife, you just, take a little bit off at a time and you have a little pile of shavings. But another way is to put the tape in, put the wood behind it, and take another piece of the wood and wedge between the post and the back side of the wood. So then when it dries, you can take both pieces of wood out, and the tape, if you pull it real gentle, will come off of the JB weld. The glue sticks to the JB weld, but the tape comes off of the glue, if that makes sense. So I just want to let you know that, because as you can see, there's still a little bit of wood in there, but the interior the bed fits in there fine. I've done checked it. It fits perfect. But just a quick update, here's what it looks like after I got done sanding it. Is it going to be 100% perfect? No, I don't think so. You may be able to tell it. You may not be able to tell it. If you can tell where I made the patch, what I'm going to do is take and make some kind of handle right there, like if it's a cargo, like right there. I might take a pick or something and just run in it and carve it and then reprime it. But there's that one. They turned out very well. It took a little bit of time sanding it because I didn't want to mess anything up, and I wanted to get as close to perfect as I could. Here's the other one, same thing. If I run my fingernail over it, it's nice and it doesn't catch any edges, but that doesn't mean that you won't be able to tell there's a bump there or something. I mean, I got it as flat as I could, as you can see. This is the one I put the tape on the back. That turned out very well. I just took a drill bit or anything that you got, toothpick or anything, and just push the tape up in one corner, pull it around, take whatever you're using, I'll say toothpick, and push it up in the other corner. And as you can see, it's very nice. It done really well. That's my preferred method. So next time I do it, if I ever do it again, that's how I'm going to do it. But I just wanted to show you where we're at right now. These jokers are ready to be primed and start the painting process. So here we go. Not perfect, but I wasn't expecting perfect because I only had like 15-20 minutes before it started getting dark. So I wanted to go ahead and try it and see what would happen. And it took off most of it, so I can deal with this because all I'm going to do is prime it and paint it the same color as the body anyway. And then add the steering wheel and do a little detail work to it. So that turned out, I am more than happy with that. More than happy. So here is a good shot of the Oklahoma Willy that we're building. Very cool truck, as you can see. And this is what I was telling you about. If that line stays, it'll be no big deal. But there's something else I need to take care of. And you may or may not already know what it is. So let me show you. Let me get a good close-up picture of the front. As you can see, it's two-tone. It's kind of like an off-white or a cream down at the bottom. And I'm not going for an exact replica of this vehicle. I'm going to try to get it as close as I can. But with that stated, if you look right here, there's a piece of double molding that goes all the way around and down that front and then back around. Now it's not on the back going across there. It's just down the sides and down the front. So I have to somehow recreate that. I don't have to do it perfectly. I can tape it off and hope that the tape doesn't peel the paint off, but I have another idea, something that I'm going to try. So let's get over to the table and I'll show you. Again, here's the truck. Looks really good. I think it turned out really nice. Now on the sides, it's no big deal. I can use that. Right? On the sides, I can use that as my separating line. But I've got to get that V come down on both sides. And the V on this won't be quite as long as the V on the photo, because this piece down here where the bumper and everything is actually longer on the actual real truck than it is on this. So with that stated, that's going to be a really good spot there, but I'm going to have to do something there. So what I have is this permanent black vinyl. And I actually got this because from the Dollar Tree, because I was planning on using it and doing some vinyl tops on a few of my older cars when I redo them. But like I said, I need something that I can use for that molding, but not only the molding, but to give me a tape line. Because I have to have some way to tape that off, because if I just paint it, if I tape it, paint it, and then go back and try to retape that, when I take that off, there's a good possibility, very good possibility, because it's happened in the past, that's how I know, that it could pull the paint off. I mean, very, very easily. Did I say very easily? So let me get you moved around. All I'm going to do is take a straight ruler, and it doesn't need to be big. As a matter of fact, the smaller the better, but it needs to be close to the trim line that's on there, because what I'll do is I'll come back and try to chrome this with the Molotow chrome pen. Straight edge with a good sharp knife, and that should be it. And then I'll get my scissors out. And I'm just going to come up onto that body line and run it right down to a point up under the V, up under the Volkswagen, and I'll clip the excess off. So that's all we're doing. I shouldn't need but about half of this per truck, so cut that in half. Pull it off of the backing so I can work with it. And the thinner you cut it, the better it molds and everything. So I'm going to come off of that line right there, hopefully. Stick it on there. And I'll be looking back and forth at the actual picture as I do this. But it comes halfway between, get my fingers where they'll work. It curves down. Just like so. Goes halfway between. The headlight. And the Volkswagen emblem. Something along that line right there. But here's where we're at. The second one was much easier. Almost identical twins, huh? Now I got a feeling that I'll come back and these will be curled up on me. And if they are, I will take a piece of tape and put on that little edge right there and go around that window. Because this is going to be chromed anyway, just like that is. I'll just put a piece of tape right there. See how easily that moves? And tape it down. Because that's going to be my tape line anyway. And like I said, if it comes off, I should be able to go back and tape it again. No big deal. But I think I got it pretty close. I think I've got it pretty close. It says permanent, but this stuff doesn't stick that good. Especially after you stick it and pull it off, stick it and pull it off. But they're ready for paint tomorrow. Now I'm going to let it sit here like this tonight. And then come back and double check everything before I actually spray. So the next thing you'll see is this being sprayed. Well, it is about to happen. It has started raining again. As you can see, everything's nice and wet. It's not optimal, but we're going to do it in here. So let's get to it. As you can see, I got a very not tidy work area set up. Got the light coming in from outside, plus I had the lights on this. So, you know, it is what it is. At least I'm blessed to have this to where I can work on it. And during the winter months, I can put a heater in here and let the heater go for a while before I come out. So, let's do a little painting, shall we? Well, here we go. We're going to clear coat everything. As you can see, it is windy. We have a steady 6-mile-an-hour wind with 9-mile-an-hour gusts. So we're going to go down here to the building, get everything set up again, and we're going to spray these because the temp is 46 degrees, and inside the building, you know, it's about the same. So with that stated, I'm out of the wind. That's the main thing. And I have a little portable heater in here, so it's not really cold. So let's go spray. Got it all set up, got the clear mix, there's everything, and there's the outside world. Woohoo! But I am blessed to have it. So let's get to spraying. I don't think I'm going to show you the spraying. I'll just show you how it looks afterwards, okay? So we'll be right back with the clear.
5 minutes later.
Just wrapping up, and I do not recommend doing what I am doing, by no means. But I just have no other choice. The wind out there is blowing like crazy. I think you can see it in the trees in the background. It's just blowing. So I do not recommend doing what I am doing. But here's what it looks like. I got the clear on it. And it looks absolutely marvelous. That little space heater right there, I have everything sitting in front of. Not the paint, not the thinner, none of that stuff. But here's what she looks like. She is all nice and wet looking. Hope it stays that way. And of course, when I was on the way out of the door from the house, I accidentally dropped this one. But it didn't do any damage, didn't cause any fuss, no muss. But that's mine. That's the joys and tribulations of doing these things, right? But I've got to clean everything up. Like I said, I do not recommend doing this. Clear coat does not like to be cold when spraying or when leveling. So that's why I have everything in front of the heater. And I got it as warm as I could out here in the building. So with that stated, next part, assembly. Well, here you go. I have all the parts laid out before you. I still have to mount the stands to the engines to the truck bed. But with that stated, we are doing final assembly. And next time you see these will be on the turntable. These have been very fun and very trying at the same time. I've had issues with weather, issues with decals, issues with even getting this off the drawing board. But with that stated, I am very happy with how they turned out. They're not perfect, but I am still very, very happy with the way they turned out. I saw this truck while going through pictures just on the internet. One thing led to another. I ended up looking at jet-powered trucks, jet-powered cars, and then I came across this. So I was like, this is super cool. I really, really like the way this truck looks. So I wanted to do a tribute. And since Rodney was kind enough to make these for me, for my truck, I hit him up because I came up with the idea of doing him one also. So that's why you see two. They're not exactly the same, as you can tell. His rack is the same color as the body. My rack is the same color as the top of the truck. So with that stated, they're the same but different. I always do a little different. And if you look at the decals on the back, they're a little different also, just to separate the two. So, with that being stated, let's rewind it back. Here's what we started with. The T2 pickup truck from Volkswagen and Hot Wheels. Very fun little casting, but I think I could do better because I wanted to make a tribute truck to the Oklahoma Willy jet-powered truck. I think it turned out really good. Like I said, it's not perfect, but I am more than tickled with it, with all that went into it, and just learning new things. So with that stated, without further ado, hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, thank you so very much for watching. Stay tuned for the turntable.